I don't have a way to check the chat.
Your computer.
To go get it.
Oh, I can go get it. Just let me start this.
Let me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Woke Wednesday. We're gonna start this off. How long is this video?
These are only a couple minutes. So.
Okay, so I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get the laptop so that we can check the chat room, and then we'll get started on this. Meantime, entertain me.
Today I set LongWalker up with a few things regarding modern women mentality being present in places of authority like cops, judges, things of that nature. So we've already had our own personal experiences dealing with female figures of authority, and I can say that pretty much none of them have been good. So we're just going to take a look because there's been some really interesting things that have come out in the past couple of days, primarily regarding a prison guard who got involved with an inmate on account of her OnlyFans and everything. So we're just going to see if the modern women mentality meshes well with positions of authority. And I know that there's like a recap from a year ago, but other than that, everything is pretty fresh.
Alright, let's rock this. Oh, I am back, ladies and gentlemen. There's my hair everywhere from the wind.
I know, it's like, why is it windy now? It's not windy now.
Alright, so I'm going on with the first one. And sorry for the way that the phone is. We can't get it to go
they stopped my
the other way for some reason.
It bugs me.
I can go 90 miles an hour. You can't. You can't do that. So get the out of the way.
A Washington State police officer is suspended after posting a controversial video to TikTok.
If us officers stay behind you long enough, we can find a reason to pull you over.
Honest to Christ, why, even in the power of authority, would you do something this stupid? You know, she's challenging people to try and do it.
Yeah.
And then saying, well, no matter what, we'll find a reason to pull you over if we're behind you. So you might as well just pull over.
And
really?
Get out of the way, get the out of the way.
Yeah.
All this,
And she's challenging people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
And Sancho's here.
Hi, Sancho.
Might as well get the out of the way.
The since-deleted TikTok was created by Federal Way police officer Brianna Strauss, who said it was a public service announcement for other drivers.
PSA to everyone out there. I'm speaking for myself, but I'm probably speaking for a large majority of other officers out there. If we're driving on the freeway in our police car, get the out of the way. Get the out of the way.
In the 38-second clip, Strauss tells the viewers, quote, "I can go 90 miles per hour. You..."
Okay, now, for one on that, not only is she talking on a phone within a point that she's within her car on duty, obviously, the radio is also going. So anybody else on that channel can be heard on her live or whatever she has going.
Yeah,
that's a big problem.
Yeah, that's like...
And I love how she's like, I can go 90 miles an hour. No, a cop cannot. If it just decides all of a sudden I want to go 90 miles an hour, a cop has the same rights. No, they cannot do that. Yes, now if they get a call and they have to go somewhere, can they do that?
If they're in pursuit of something.
Yeah, or in pursuit of something.
Yeah, no, that makes
but
sense.
They can't just, well, I'm going to go 90 miles an hour today.
I mean, it's pretty common of cop mentality, though, because it's like, they'll run the lights and flip on their lights to go through red lights and everything out here, and then, it's
and let me guess, if they fired her, later on she would be like, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
No, if they fired her, she would probably claim sexual discrimination.
Probably.
Honestly.
That's the typical female now.
That's the modern women mentality.
I mean, we've had pretty well similar experiences with animal control out here, as far as the females compared to the males.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with the guys. Women always want to make a name for themselves. They're hard ass. They're dykey. They lie.
It's the boss bitch mentality.
Yeah, it's type A.
Because it takes them a long time to advance, or they have to do sexual stuff to advance in the workplace.
Which you'll see in the next video. And you gotta tell me that this one that's coming up after this one doesn't remind you of the animal control officers that we've dealt with. I mean, it looks just like her. It's crazy.
They gotta look too, don't they?
They do have a look.
Can't. She also says officers will find a way to pull someone over.
If us officers stay behind you long enough, we can find a reason to pull you over.
video was removed from TikTok, it made waves across the internet when a Reddit user posted a screen recording of the video.
If you merge and we follow behind you and we merge too, you're probably in trouble. Best way to find that out is get the out of the way.
In a statement to local media, the Federal Way Police Department said in part, quote, "We have viewed the social media video posted by Officer Strauss and can assure you that it does not represent the core values and practices of our police department." Strauss later received a 10.
Ouch. She gets that from the place, you know, this.
From her own
It does
employment.
not represent us. I don't know why she posted it, but not us does this represent.
Yeah, but she says, I'm pretty sure I'm talking for just about every other officer
Yeah.
out there. Well, apparently not.
Apparently.
1-hour suspension without pay. Police say that's equal to 1 shift. For the latest developments in this story and all things true crime, stay with Long Crime Network. I'm Sierra Gillespie.
Shocking findings of sexual misconduct rocked the Laverne Police Department. 5 officers and the police chief all fired.
One of those officers, Megan Hall, became the face of the scandal and the target of nationwide ridicule, and she's now filed a federal lawsuit.
Tonight, in an exclusive interview with our Nick Barris, Hall describes a toxic workplace behind closed doors and how sexual misconduct spiraled out of control.
Megan Hall was 24 years old when she was hired as an officer here at the Laverne Police Department 2 years ago. Her plan was to have a career in law enforcement. She now knows that dream is likely over.
I remember while interviewing for the position at Laverne Police Department, they described the environment as a family. However, while I was aspiring to protect my community, the Laverne Police Department was not protecting me.
By now, most of the country knows what happened. Hall, 4 other officers, and the police chief were fired last month. This after 2 separate investigations found that Hall engaged in sexual activity and or shared intimate photos and videos with several male officers. The chief and 2 sergeants were among those implicated. Now Hall and her attorney, Wesley Clark, are suing those 3 supervisors and the city in federal court for civil rights violations.
Megan wasn't looked at like a rookie cop to be trained and promoted. She was looked at as a piece of meat to be sexualized and exploited.
Since the story broke, Hall, the lone female officer fired and only woman on the second shift, became a target nationwide for sexual jokes and
It's really funny too, a lot of these officers, because I mean even the animal control is an officer.
Yeah.
A lot of the females that are there have family that are at least in a similar position.
Yeah,
Even our animal control officer we had coming around here, her father was a sheriff.
it was a sheriff, right?
A head sheriff at that.
And then she was thinking about like changing jobs, and she's like, "Oh no, I like it in the position that I'm in now." I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, because you could abuse your authority. Like
Yep.
you come across people like us that are like low income and far out on the fringes of society and stuff, and then that's like, oh, that's an easy mark. That's an easy.
Yeah, she
target.
found out we weren't though, didn't
Exactly.
she?
It's like court, you
Yep.
know. So you gotta fight it. Cannot
Yeah,
let.
don't let people tell you just to cave in to any of the pressures of any law
Yeah,
enforcement.
absolutely know your rights, know your property rights,
Yeah, that's
know
the
your
biggest
civil rights.
thing, and that's what we had to learn,
Yeah,
is know your rights.
and absolutely, unequivocally know the laws, because they
And-
will lie to you.
And more than likely, do not live on your property unless they
Yeah.
have a warrant.
Yeah, if they have a warrant that should be signed and sealed by a judge,
Yeah,
you should not let them on the property. You know, it's like, you know, be polite and cooperative to the best of your ability. But they,
because
yeah,
most generally, if they're going on your property, they will try to find something. They will hunt down information,
yeah.
and it's not worth it for you as a person.
Right.
So I mean, just know
Know your rights. And
know
the
your
law,
rights. That's the
and laws,
biggest thing.
taunting.
I received harassing and threatening messages on my phone daily. I felt like I had been terrorized.
And yes, now she is suing.
So it's like I said about like they do this stuff with these women. You notice like when she was in the police force and having this stuff, she had like the bleach blonde hair
Mhm.
and all of this, you know, and they did this with Jodi Arias as well. And it's like as soon as they go into court and start defending themselves, they make them like dye their hair like this mousy brown color and give them glasses and make them dress like really presentable so they don't look like they're sluts. You know.
Hey, I mean, lawyers have to try to win cases even if they know they're in the wrong. They have to do whatever they can to try
It's
to
true.
win the case.
Criminal cases.
Yeah.
He says, I personally have had a history of very good women of authority. Like with jobs or everyday occurrences, they're good and they're bad, but it can be very bad. Yeah,
You know, I mean, anybody can abuse their power.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see that.
I mean, it happens.
I just find that, like, with the modern women mindset and the lack of accountability,
Yes.
mixed with that position of authority, more often not, especially out here, like in the sticks and
Yes.
stuff, they're just like not. They really want to make a name for themselves. They're just
They
not
do.
good character.
They do,
It's like
that's for sure.
I've known like 3 or 4 of them, and every last one of them was bad.
Yes.
Particularly when they got with another female.
Yeah, when they get together, you know you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That is one of the biggest things.
Yeah. When I was working with the one solo, like, not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, but then as soon as she got together with another one, it turned into this whole thing. Yeah, and it's like they're so, yeah.
Hulk smash!
Like in positions like with jobs and stuff, yeah, maybe, but mostly I'm just thinking like judges,
High power, yeah.
yeah, cops, you know, any sort of anything like that.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
No criminal charges have been filed in the case. Hall knows there are those who will say she was a consenting adult who willingly participated in sexual antics in violation of police department policy, and that now she wants to blame others, including one sergeant who targeted her early on.
I know what most people are saying. You know, you could have said no. I get it. But my response to them is that I did say no, and he wouldn't take it for an answer. Eventually.
No. Fix that to tell the truth. I did not say no. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, like, then if she didn't say, I mean, if she said no and all this stuff, then that's rape.
Yeah.
You know, that's sexual.
So why aren't they going
perversion,
after that?
So she should have turned them in for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care if you wanted to keep your career or whatever. It's not worth your body.
No.
It's not worth your dignity.
No.
You know, I would rather die before somebody touched me, even by force. You know, I'd rather
Yeah.
freaking die.
Or they would die.
Missing some parts.
I gave in from pressure.
So it's not as easy to say she could have just said no.
She did say no on several occasions. Miss Hall tried to get out of this relationship, and she was not allowed to.
Hall concedes she participated under duress. She's not.
Okay, I am sorry, but how? Do they have a gun pointed to your head saying if you say no, I'm gonna shoot you? I mean,
Still not worth it. Still
what?
not.
I mean, you gotta have a clear definition of what. Well, she said no because I mean she could have whispered no, and technically that's saying it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anybody really hears it, on the other hand,
I mean, you object. I mean, if somebody's holding you to that point, I don't care.
exactly.
You object. You know, you take it in writing, you take it somewhere higher. I just don't buy it. And yeah, I mean,
did she say no, well, moaning or something?
right, exactly.
Saying she was raped, but adds that the salacious details made public of sex on the job put her alone center stage and do not tell the whole story.
They isolated me, they shunned me, they accused me, and they blamed me for becoming a victim.
Hall suffered from depression to the point of considering suicide and at one point was hospitalized. She felt trapped.
My supervisors worked together to take advantage of my vulnerabilities and my mental health. And they used it for their gain and sexual pleasure.
And that included the police chief, Chip Davis. The independent investigation found he was aware of what was going on and even received intimate photos and videos of Hall.
Who do you even turn to when the chief of police is sexually harassing you? How could I get justice when the entire system, including the chief, not only condoned such behavior?
Okay, if something like that does happen, you gotta go higher. Keep going higher until you find somebody that'll listen. You go high enough, and I almost guarantee you'll find somebody that'll take that story serious. And,
Especially if there's like 5 of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially if you have proof, because obviously there were screenshots of stuff that she had sent
Exactly.
them and everything. So it's like, yeah, screenshot all these requests and all of these demands, and you know they're gonna corner you in person. Hit record on your phone or your body cam.
you just can't be
know?
afraid. That's what it comes down to.
Right,
These
and-
women are so afraid.
Yeah,
they-
I don't feel that there's any fear here. I think that she was just a sex monger, because all the guys they all look the same. That she has a type.
Yep.
And it's like, I feel that she was just being, I think she was doing it.
Promiscuous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that.
but participated in it. I was lost, and I felt alone. I had no one to turn to, and I had nowhere to go.
Hall now realizes her career in law enforcement is likely over, and she knows those ugly memes on social media will remain forever, her reputation sullied.
No woman should ever have to endure this type of abuse. What happened to me during my employment at Laverne's police department, it should never happen to anyone.
Hall now hopes to put what happened to her here at the Laverne PD behind her. She is married and says she has a strong family support system and says that it was her faith that helped carry her through the turmoil. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Nick, thank you. Hall's federal lawsuit names 2 supervising sergeants, the police chief, and the city of Laverne. The city has not responded to the lawsuit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a crazy one today. So the video you can see here with this female.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Simp Saver Sam, and this is the newest one. So let's get into this one. It's a longer one.
Prison officer and this guy, basically she's getting whacked in the cell, and she asked this guy's cellmate to record it for her OF. And bear in mind, this woman is a mother and a wife, and she's doing the madness at work. So she thought it was a good idea to upload this to her socials, primarily her OF, and make money off this. And of course this went viral, and it all goes downhill from there, if it can get any more downhill than this. Oh yeah, her mother's kicking her the hell out of the house. Look at the size of that suitcase. This video was a few days after, everything blew up and went on and she was arrested. Can you imagine how her parents feel during all this? And her husband and kids? Madness.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
So the guy actually in the video with her, from what I'm hearing, there's no repercussions on his side. He's just carrying on with his sentence. And the guy recording his cellmate going, "We've made history. This is amazing." As this is all going on, I think he's in the same boat. But for her, the prison officer, it's not looking good. And here's an update.
Update, guys, on the Wandsworth prison officer. She appeared in Uxbridge Magistrates Court today, where her solicitor has obviously applied for bail. She was granted it and she has been released on conditional bail, and she is due to appear at Isleworth Magistrates Court on the 29th of July. So her case has gone to Crown, which kind of expected anyway. Obviously in my previous video I wasn't too sure. I thought maybe she wouldn't get bail because of how much public attention that it has, but she's on conditional bail. There's lots of other things she could be, maybe being on a tag as well at some stage, I don't know, but there will be conditions to her bail. Maybe she'll have to check in at a police station. There's lots of different things around like bail conditions, but yeah, she's due at Isleworth Magistrates Court on the 29th of July, where will be the start of court proceedings for her.
I mean, everything that's happened so far, this girl was kind of asking for it, and the fact she got bail is pretty mad. If she's scared...
No pun intended there. This girl was kind of asking for it.
Yeah,
She literally asked for it.
It's the jail time. That's going to piss a lot of people off, because we all know what would happen if it was the other way around. And I've noticed a lot of social media platforms are trying to keep this on the hush-hush. They're trying to keep it on the low. They're trying to remove as much information as possible and take the original video down. To be honest, most of the original videos on court websites, hence why I can't even show that shit. If you want to see the original video, just Google it and it will come up pretty quick. But I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on this one, guys. Let me know in the comments.
Babe, have you seen that Wandsworth prison video?
Mm-hmm. Everyone's seen it.
It's everywhere.
I've been thinking about applying for the prison role.
No. No chance.
I think I'd be good. I think I'd be good at it. Don't you?
No. Definitely no.
No?
No. I don't think so.
Well,
Taking it past me.
I bet a bunch of inmates now are getting their hopes up after that video went viral. I know this is a skit, but I bet there is men out there whose girlfriends want to go into the prison line of work and they're just like, nope, after seeing this, that ain't happening, not a chance.
They wouldn't want to go into the prison line if they knew what really goes on in some of the prisons.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
and you'll see a couple more.
Yeah, it could be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, some female officers don't even make it.
Yeah. So it's like he essentially was wondering why they even are wanting to be in these positions anyway. And also, if there's male privilege but no female privilege, then how are they even in these positions? You know? And it's like, but you know, women have been oppressed for forever, right?
I know.
You know? It's like,
Exactly.
Like
You know?
I can see the nursing job, which you'll see about a nurse on here too that also had a relationship with an inmate. But I can see nurses. But I just don't really see what kind of, I don't see what kind of value they could bring to an actual prison inmate situation. I mean, they don't really have, I mean, I guess you can use a gun or a taser, but I mean, it's like they don't really have the bodily strength to handle these people. I mean, you've seen full-grown beefy dudes get taken down by tweakers.
I know.
So, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we knew a nurse that got his head snapped back from somebody that was tweaking.
Yeah, and his neck broke, and he had to have a fusion done, and it was just like this little thin layer of skin that was over the top of his bones there for the rest of his life, all because, you know, he was leaning over the end of the bed, and the tweaker just hauled off and just kicked him straight up under the jaw and, like, dislocated his head from his neck.
God.
Crazy stuff.
Gives me a headache just thinking about it.
Crazy stuff, man.
So, can we just talk about this lady? You've all seen it. You've all probably seen clips of the video, or the whole video if not, because I know I have. This girl knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing. Why get a job in a prison knowing fully well you have an OF, you and your husband are swingers? She knew what she was doing. She's just boosted up her OF, for real. For real. Lost her job, but imagine how many subscribers she's going to get now. She's a clever girl, but also she literally just risked everything for that. How degrading, like how low her self-respect is to go and do that.
Yeah, it's definitely a good point she made about, you know, how much money and subscribers she's going to get after this is all done. I didn't know there were swingers as well. That's kind of mad. That explains a lot, but still, some people go to extreme measures to make money, don't they?
How long in jail could Linda D'Souza Abu face for the viral video at HMP Wandsworth? She was in court today where a lot of questions remain. Namely, did she hock too? D'Souza Abu, who was detained at Heathrow Airport, appeared at Uxbridge Magistrates Court today to confirm her name and address. Charges were read out that she willfully, without any excuse or justification, misconducted herself in a public office. She'll face a trial on the 29th of July. As for how much D'Souza Abu could face if she's found guilty and goes to sentencing, it's very bad news for her, as it's a common law offence. There's no maximum sentence that she could be given, so she could face up to life in prison. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Now, this is misconduct in a public office. It depends on the severity and what the judge decides to amount to this. Obviously, it's not to that degree that you'd expect her to get life in prison. If found guilty, she may not be. We'll have to wait and see how the judge looks over that video evidence. But clearly, this would be from a more serious crime, which would result in someone's death possibly, or massive malpractice such as possibly a politician. Anyway, likely we'll have to wait and see. This is a broad spectrum and it will be a while until that time, but 29th of July, watch out for this case. It's going to be an interesting one, a lot of public attention around it. How long should she get?
Surely she's going to go down for something, because this is one video. How many videos has she done? You know, this is all happening because she got caught. She might have done loads of videos and not uploaded them. She might have done similar things with other inmates. We don't know. But doing something like this is in my opinion, she should get jail time, because it's madness. Because what if someone was getting attacked, or she had to actually do her job, but she was too busy in the cell getting whacked? I mean, surely the judge will think of that, surely.
I've just watched that Wandsworth prison video. What the hell? Like, I know I'm late to the party, but I've only just seen it. I don't even know what to say. I can't even... Like, why? Like, I thought she didn't know she was being filmed, but in the video you can clearly see she knows she's being filmed, and she's like really scared that she's going to get caught, because she like hides in the video because she thinks someone's coming through the door, but yet she knew that if this video got leaked she'd lose her job anyway. So I'm like, she's either being like blackmailed or paid for it, or she needs to get some self-respect really, because, well, I'm just speechless, because apparently she's got a husband, hasn't she, and a kid, and then the guy that she was with, apparently he's got a girlfriend or a wife and children. Like, I can't get my head around here.
I don't think she was being blackmailed, because from what it seems like to me, this was her idea. She's the one who kept asking the guy filming, is it rolling, is the camera going, make sure you record this. She really wanted that shit on video, and if this was all planned to promote her OF, then she was pretty successful at that, because I'm sure there's plenty of losers out there trying to find this OF. I'm not sure if the police will shut her OF down, I don't really know, but I'm sure she's got lots of friends who are going to keep all these videos, and then when this is all done and dusted, she might get 6 months community service. Who knows what the judge is going to give her. Like I said earlier, I don't think any of this is a mistake. I think this is all part of her little plan to become an overnight success. And it's crazy to me that she actually thought this would work. Like, how did she not think she was going to get caught is beyond me.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Harris County District Judge Kelly Johnson arrested for a DWI early this morning. Fox 26's Abigail Dye joining us live with more information on what's happened here. Abigail, after being let go on a similar traffic stop just 2 months ago?
Yeah, that's right. It appears that Judge Johnson is dealing with some personal matters. Earlier this year, she took leave from her bench, the court citing a personal matter. And then in April, she was pulled over, suspected of drunk driving, but she wasn't arrested. She's overseen hundreds of cases here downtown. And after the arrest this morning, she finds herself on the other side of the courtroom. Judge Kelly Johnson, known for her high-profile work while sitting in the 178th District Court of Harris County. She was on all three of the A.J. Armstrong murder trials, and in April found Brian Coulter guilty of capital murder for beating 8-year-old Kendrick to death, a case that clearly haunted Judge Johnson.
Those children have haunted me this last week. They have haunted my mind, and they have interrupted my safe space when I leave this building.
Just days before those remarks, Johnson was pulled over by a Harris County Sheriff's deputy. HCSO saying the deputy pulled her over for speeding and smelled alcohol.
Great. So now we got judges that use the safe space BS, things. Oh my God, it invaded my safe space.
Violating my safe space, and so I
God.
couldn't make a sound decision. Oh God.
It's ridiculous. I
It's
mean,
like they're supposed to be tougher than that.
yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
On her breath. He initiated a sobriety test, but didn't find probable cause for an arrest and let her go with just a speeding warning.
She's a wonderful person, but her behavior that night is not wonderful, right? You don't, as an officer of the court, most certainly as an elected judge, you are not supposed to use that position as a cudgel to try to get your way out of being in trouble.
Now, 2 months later, Johnson has a mugshot, accused of driving under the influence after Houston police pulled her over around 1:55 a.m. in Northwest Houston Tuesday. Attorney and former judge Charles Adams weighs in. What exactly does that mean for the cases that she's currently presiding over?
I don't think it'll have, if any, it'll have very little impact on the cases on her docket right now. There's a possibility that they'll continue to see visiting judges handle those cases, but I don't expect them to be reassigned. And I think that this issue will be quickly resolved with an agreement to enter into some sort of pretrial diversion program, and she will just move on as if nothing ever happened.
Now, the district court did confirm with us over the phone that other judges will be overseeing Johnson's docket for the time being, but they didn't comment directly on this case or say anything about her employment status. We've also reached out to Judge Johnson, and we haven't heard back for comment yet. Now, you might be wondering, I was wondering, what happens to her previous cases? Do any of these charges affect those convictions that she has on the books right now? I'll have that answer for you coming up on the News Edge at 10. Reporting live in downtown, Abigail Dye, Fox 26 News.
Okay, changing gears here. The attorney for the Douglas County judge arrested by Atlanta police last Thursday believes newly released cell phone video will help prove her innocence. Judge Christina Peterson faces a misdemeanor battery against an officer charge and a felony count of obstructing an officer.
11 Live Streets of Wolves has a breakdown of the latest video in the case.
Douglas County Judge Christina Peterson's attorney says it's not just about the police body camera footage released Friday, but also what happened before Atlanta police showed up to Red Martini Lounge in Buckhead Thursday.
She didn't even know the officer was there.
Arrington believes Peterson, who is a probate judge, was too distracted to notice. In the video, you can see commotion outside of the lounge. A man is seen punching a woman who identifies herself as Alexandria Love several times. You then see Judge Christina Peterson come into the frame, appearing to try to break up the fight.
The law allows you to protect others.
When Atlanta police arrive, according to arrest warrants, Peterson is accused of striking an officer with a closed fist. She's then put in handcuffs. On Friday morning, Atlanta police said the body camera footage wouldn't be released until the case is adjudicated, but then released the video Friday night. However, police won't comment on the change, though a spokesperson with APD did confirm they're investigating the man accused of assaulting Love. Body camera footage also shows the sitting judge later cursing at the arresting officer and refusing to identify herself.
Okay, so this one, from what I'm understanding of this, she went to separate a fight that was out in front of a nightclub, and one of them happened to be the officer, and one of them was somebody else, and stuff. And she didn't know. She separated and punched the officer, supposedly, and then got put into a cop car.
Okay. But she's already had conflict with authority, I think.
I think so.
So, yeah.
But this guy was talking, and he said that she's allowed to go and break up other fights out in public as a judge.
Okay.
So, I mean, for whatever reason, the officers did not want to release the body cam footage till after everything was settled. But then all of a sudden, I guess, like the next night, released it anyway. And they wouldn't comment on why they changed that. But I mean, she obviously was in the right because she's getting, I think it just said money or something for it. An apology or something, and released.
Interesting.
Illegal to drink and drive. It is not illegal to go somewhere and have a drink or two.
Peterson's conduct in the courtroom has been previously questioned, and a case is currently before the state Supreme Court to decide if she's committed judicial misconduct. Douglas County officials tell me there have been numerous complaints about Peterson's conduct in the courtroom, but whether indicted in this most recent case or not, the decision on her employment will come down to the Georgia Judicial Qualifications Commission.
I don't know how any of that would be relevant to what occurred the other night.
Arrington says he's focused on making sure his client's charges are dismissed, and he believes this newest video is step one and has turned it over to the district attorney.
They will see that Judge Peterson's role was not that of an offender and that she never should have been arrested.
In Douglas County, Teresa Bowles, 11 Alive News.
First time tonight, we're hearing from the Metro Atlanta judge arrested at a DeKalb or Buckhead nightclub. I'm Alan Devlin.
And I'm Savannah Louie. The Douglas County Probate Court judge is out of jail, and now she's ready to tell her side of the story. Atlanta News First anchor Tori Cooper is live in Douglas County outside the judge's courthouse. Tori, you were the only reporter who spoke with her tonight.
I spoke with Judge Christina Peterson tonight at her home, and she told me that she's still healing from what happened between her and police last night. But before this, Judge Peterson was involved in a different investigation that got her in trouble with a state panel. Last night, Douglas County Probate Judge Christina Peterson was arrested outside the Red Martini Lounge in Buckhead. Atlanta police have not publicly released their report into what happened, but jail records show Peterson is now charged with simple battery against a police officer and felony willful obstruction of law enforcement by threats and violence. Some of Judge Peterson's neighbors who did not want to go on camera say this news caught them off guard.
Well, I figured she had to have a reason for something to happen.
But other neighbors tell a different story about Judge Peterson's conduct. One of them told me off camera Peterson sued her when she was the president of the Homeowners Association, and she's still going through that litigation now. Court documents show Judge Peterson was investigated for taking action against the HOA.
The head of HOA, she wouldn't release her position, and the only way to get her down was to get signatures.
A $70,000 settlement was eventually reached, but neighbors named as plaintiffs in the suit alongside Judge Peterson allegedly never received their share of the settlement money, but Judge Peterson did. Judge Peterson was also investigated and accused of violating courtroom security protocol and disrupting courtroom operations, among other things. But some of her neighbors still have her back.
She's pretty fair with everything.
Now, Judge Peterson plans on holding a press conference tomorrow at 2 p.m. alongside her attorney, but Judge Peterson has limited time left on the bench anyway because she lost her re-election bid in the May primaries. Reporting live in Douglasville, I'm Tori Cooper, Atlanta News First.
Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Yes, so Sancho was just talking about evidence of women commonly getting men in trouble, ruining their lives, even with the help of other men. And imagine what women of authority could do. You know, and I was talking about how men have to be very discerning nowadays, and how even for a good chunk of my life, that was my goal too, just to cause wreckage, and problems in men's lives.
It's easy to go down that road.
Tear them down and to hurt them before they could hurt me, sort of mentality, and that it took a hell of a lot of living and submitting to you and raising the family and just being out like I'm supposed to see the errors in my ways and make amends for that, because it's like for some reason it's really easy for the modern women mindset to make them want to just destroy everything about men.
It is, because it's like you said, it's that the way the mentality is that get them before they get me attitude.
Right.
And it's very easy for women to fall into that.
And they're so selfish.
Yeah,
you know,
they
it's
are.
like even remember the Mormon lesbians that we saw. You know, she wasn't feeling fulfilled. She wasn't feeling right about this. She had a husband. She had a family, but she had to let go of them so she could live her best life, so she could feel okay. Well, what the hell did that do to him?
Exactly.
You know, it's like
nobody thinks about other people. It's always me.
Yeah.
What can I do for myself? Because if I don't take care of myself, then I'm not going to be here, so it's not going to matter.
Right. It's a very selfish and really egocentric way of living, and it's like you could see it in those men. They were completely shattered and completely lost. What does that do to their sexuality?
Yep.
You know, what does that make them think about their self-esteem?
That is
it's
right.
Like, all of a sudden, it's like you're living with somebody for 10, 15 years, and then they're like, oh, I'm a lesbian, I'm not happy, bye.
Pretty much.
It's like, that sucks for you, but you are in a committed relationship, and there are other people to think about.
It used to not be that simple to get a divorce.
It's true.
Now it's so easy.
It is. It's so easy. And the no-fault divorce thing.
I think I need the light turned on.
Do you want the light turned on?
No, they can't see me too well. So I want to make sure that people...
You know, like the no-fault divorce thing is something that we're going to have to cover on one of your Fridays or something too, because it's like, I think that was a big mistake. It's just like the abortion thing. It's like if you have a valid, really good reason, like if, and in the case of a divorce, if you're getting the crap beat out of you, or your kids are in danger, then it's like a deal breaker.
Exactly.
But, I mean, just to say, I'm not satisfied, I'm not feeling it, you know, that gets me. Give me a second here, guys. Sorry. Whoa. There we go.
He said, okay, he's done sharing through. All right, let's see about this one now.
Come out the car.
Me?
Come out the car.
Go
Are you serious?
I'm good.
Are you serious?
I'm good.
Come to the back of the car. Are you serious, Sarge? Really? You see how you're driving?
I have a friend with me.
Hey, Gomez, you on?
What the hell's that doing?
Wow, okay, ladies and gentlemen. Literally, he says, okay, do you know the way you're driving? And she's like, I got a friend with me. What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
That means that your friend let you drive the way you were driving. Probably drunk from what I can see here.
Yeah, she's, I think it says it's, yeah, she's a sergeant. She is the sergeant of their precinct.
Yeah.
So they pull up and they see her and they know her and she's supposed to be their boss.
And she's drunk.
And she's drunk.
Driving a vehicle when police are held to a higher standard than pedestrians when they get into a vehicle.
Right.
No matter if they're on duty or not.
Yeah.
They are that high standard.
Yeah, I mean...
So she's going to get the book thrown at her. Like, hard. There's no covering that up.
They tried. There's another video I have here with another judge. She gets pulled over. And apparently she'd gotten pulled over before. They let her go before. And they were going to let her go again with a warning. Just let her drive away.
I think the last one, or the one before, I think that one judge, I think she got away with it. Possibly. Pretty much. You know, there's one where they just, okay, go, and then...
I saw one, I couldn't find it. It was, actually, I saw it while we were in Las Vegas. I think it was a local one. Man, yeah. she was off it, man. They pulled her over, and she was crossing her legs over. She was falling, twisting her ankle and everything, and kept saying, don't you know who I am? Don't you know who I am? Don't you know I can get you in trouble? And she was another judge.
Who's got the power now?
Exactly. And she was for a DUI court.
These people, man, think they're untouchable.
Give me your note, please. Stay in the back of the car, please.
Oh, they muted their body cams.
Sarge, come out the car. Come out the car. Stay standing outside the car. Stay right here. Sarge, stay right here.
Okay, so it looks like she's off duty. You do not call her Sarge anymore. Not when somebody pulls this big of a stunt. Call them by their name.
Yeah.
Just be like, listen, you're
not acting in authority at that point.
No, and you've showed us just what you're capable of, what you're gonna do. That is bullshit.
Alright, gonna be performing some field sobriety testing today, okay? Are you willing to take the steps?
Absolutely.
Are you wearing any contacts? No. Okay, so what about your shoes? Would you like to take your shoes off? No? Okay. So we're gonna come over here. Any injuries or anything like that? No? Alright, so first thing we're gonna do, I need you to Yes, they advised me that Miramar is coming to take over.
Okay.
I mean, it started and now.
So in the middle of the party, he says he told you no, right?
Yeah, he told me to stop. My sergeant told me to stop. So.
Conflict of interest?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. He told me to stop, and I'm just advising you that Miramar is coming to take over.
Okay.
All right? All right. I should have read this shit up.
My phone is
Is your badge in there? What's your license on? You need female. Is it in your purse? No. Just put it in the car and somebody want to give your jewelry and stuff license?
You know, and it's like, depending on how she was as a sergeant, is the way that you want to end up treating her.
Right.
It's like if she was really strict in her ways to other people, you be that back to her. You know, because that shows that everybody can mess up and have issues if she was really harsh. And maybe that'll lighten her a little bit.
Yeah.
If she even has a job anymore.
Right.
More than likely not.
And
Not the sergeant, at least. She's probably going to have to go back to being a...
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you can be in a position of authority like this and then walk away from it.
Yeah, you
know,
can't.
without having... I mean, because it's like with body cam and everything, it's so hard to
well, and especially when they bring another county in. You're getting the book thrown at you if they have to bring another county in.
Oh, yeah.
Because it means that they want to make sure it's done fairly, and if she's that drunk, yeah, there's a big problem.
Right.
Especially if she's like twice the legal limit or any of that.
Right.
So, I mean, that's big. Hey, turn cameras off, or the mics off again. I still don't understand why that county is still there. They should have had to leave and then let this other county take fully over. But it's like they're backing up still. Like,
I don't know, maybe they should just, maybe there's paperwork to do or something.
Yeah.
I don't want to fill out yet.
This one.
Don't touch that one. Just drag it down. Just drag down the comments. There you go. And now drag it down again.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. So you said this is probably the only one.
This is probably the only one that you'll have. I think this one's a little bit longer.
I think there's a 20-minute one.
I think this was it.
21 minutes, yeah.
I forgot what this is about.
Female cop gets fired and sued.
Yeah,
this is
the
audit.
I don't even know what this one's about.
So this should be fun.
Yeah. So.
All right, and Audit the Audit's a good channel too. They talk pretty fairly about both sides and.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers vehicle searches, excessive force, and resisting, and is brought to us by Lackluster's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Before we dive into the interaction, I want to give a big thanks to the sponsor of this episode, Morgan & Morgan. In December of 2022, there were over 284 million vehicles operating across the country, and in 2020 alone, there were over 5 million car accidents in the U.S., with over 1.5 million of those accidents resulting in injuries, and over 3.6 million resulting in property damage. This means that the average driver in the U.S. will experience 3 to 4 car accidents in their lifetime. Many of these accidents will involve insurance claims, lawsuits, and tons of paperwork. Luckily, Morgan & Morgan is here to help in these difficult situations. Not only is Morgan & Morgan America's largest injury law firm with over 900 attorneys operating in over 100 offices across the entire country, but they have developed the simplest and most intuitive way to seek the compensation you deserve. Many people have the impression that hiring an attorney is a daunting task full of endless paperwork, meetings, and research, but the legal experts at Morgan & Morgan have modernized the injury law process so you can submit a claim and communicate with your legal team all from your phone. With Morgan & Morgan, there's no need for you to visit law offices and sit through long consultations. You can submit a claim and have a lawyer review your case with only 8 clicks on your phone. And the best part is, you only pay if they win. There are no upfront costs, sign-up fees, or hidden invoices. If they don't win your case, you pay nothing. Over 3 million people trust Morgan & Morgan to help in their time of need every year. And with over 4,000 support staff available at any hour to help with your case, you can submit a claim anytime. If you're ever injured in an accident.
Okay, well that's going on. I figured I should take the break and let everybody know too that we've got a Patreon now set up for this page. My awesome wife over here got it set up today, and there's going to be 2 different memberships, but one is only set up right now, and that's at $3.33, right?
I have both of them set up. I have $3.33 and I have an $8.88. The $3.33, it's gonna come with exclusive access to live streams, shout outs. If you wanna do if you have a request or whatever, we can do that. You can check it out. I'll bring up the information later. I'll screenshot it and put it on your page.
Okay.
The 888 one, that's gonna give you access to merchandise and a community, like a private community of people who
sounds
follow.
good.
So that one's probably not going to be overly established at the moment, but that's where we're at with that right now.
Yeah, we're gonna on Patreon. We're gonna try to do some special lives. It might be some questions and answer ones that we'll be getting set up as time goes on, or just really big specials that we see that we need to discuss.
And if there's some nitty gritty stuff that's not available to be watched on YouTube,
then we'll do it there.
We can do it on Patreon and everything.
Sounds good.
I'll definitely be developing that over the next couple days more.
Yeah.
And I'll post the links after we're done here.
The link is on mine already, right? If you go to my YouTube page, right?
No, your YouTube is connected to the Patreon, but I haven't added the link over on the other.
Okay, so we'll get that put in then.
The other thing that I'm working on right now is downloading a decent streaming program for the Chromebook, because this is driving me crazy with this resolution. You can't hardly see it.
I know.
And I don't know why YouTube took that away. They took away the horizontal orientation.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I'm looking to do a streaming program, and that way you can have like more of a professional thing going on here. And most of the time it requires a couple of different devices, so I'll have to see how that works.
Yeah, for sure.
I had Streamlabs for a while, and it was a jumbled mess, but those are the 2 main things that I worked on today.
Okay. So thank you.
Good. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
You can submit a claim at www.forthepeople.com/audittheaudit or by dialing #law. That's #529 on your phone. Thanks again to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring today's episode. In the late evening of December 3rd, 2021, Officer Teddy Dyer, Officer Candace Miller, and Sergeant David Myrick of the East Ridge Police Department in Tennessee responded to a call for a well child check at the residence of Haley Sherrard. When they arrived at the home, they found Haley's mother, Angel Sherrard, along with her son, Devin, in a vehicle in front of the house. Officer Dyer approached the vehicle from the right passenger side, and the encounter that followed was captured on his body camera.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, do you live here?
My daughter's living here.
Is she? Is that 893?
Yeah, it is.
All right, hang on 1 second for me, okay?
Something wrong?
Well, we got called to check on a child.
What child?
I don't know. They didn't tell us. They just said do a welfare check.
From when? Like, what did they say?
I don't know. We'll go up and knock. Is that your daughter coming now?
Yeah.
What's her name? Hey, going up to the door.
Well, how old's the child?
2 years old? Is there a 2-year-old that lives here? Okay.
I bet it was,
4 Mike 3, 7 Golf 4.
Why are you running my tag?
Because I smell marijuana.
You smell marijuana?
Yes.
Because you smell marijuana that gives you the right to run my tag?
Not only that, I'm going to search your car.
You're not going to search anything.
Yes, ma'am.
No, you're not.
I promise you.
You are not going to break my rights right now.
You're about to get your rights in the back of my car.
Well, that's what you want to do because you're going to get in trouble when you do. Because I haven't done anything. I haven't violated.
Okay, I don't care who you are, cops, whatever. You don't have the right to get that uppity with somebody. You are a civil service person. Doing your job is foremost what you're supposed to do, and they're not there for that woman. They're there to do a welfare check. That's what they should be checking. I don't care if they have another cop doing it.
Right.
Both of them should be going.
That bugs me. See, it's not just women of authority. I have a problem with authority in general.
Yes.
For that reason. You know, it's like they really overstep their bounds and go looking for trouble. And yeah, and you can tell that they're somewhere in the deep south.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like you're really gonna...
The deep south.
We're really gonna do this, you know? It's like, yeah.
And they are. I mean, they look for any excuse. It's like, oh, you want to get uppity with me? Well, I'll get uppity with you too.
Yeah, and I don't like that because it's like,
no,
they need to maintain their composure. They need to be, like you said, they're a civil servant.
Yes.
You know, they don't need to be lording that authority over you.
No, they don't.
79.
Or anything. You sit there and talk to me and you're going to search my car.
I am going to search your car.
And you're running my tag.
I am going to search
I'm not
your
doing
car.
anything but sitting out here waiting for my daughter to come back out.
I don't care. Your car's going to be searched. And if you interfere with my search, I will put you in the car and I will take you to jail.
You go ahead and you violate my rights then.
Okay, put your hands on the car.
You violate my rights.
Put your hands on the car.
Officer Dyer claims he is going to run the vehicle's tags and search it because he smells marijuana. Tennessee is one of the minority of states that, as of the date of writing this episode, have not legalized or decriminalized either recreational or medical marijuana, although the state has legalized hemp and CBD oil. Accordingly, in the 1976 case of State versus Hughes, the Supreme Court of Tennessee held that the odor of marijuana coming from a vehicle constitutes probable cause to believe that the vehicle contains contraband marijuana. In the 2022 case of State versus Hampton, the Court of Criminal Appeals of Tennessee rejected an argument that with the legalization of hemp, the quote-unquote plain smell of marijuana no longer established probable cause for a warrantless vehicle search, as the smell of marijuana is indistinguishable from the smell of hemp, concluding that, now quoting, until our Supreme Court or our legislature determines otherwise, the smell of marijuana continues to establish probable cause for the warrantless search of an automobile. Accordingly, if a court believed Officer Dyer's assertion that he smelled marijuana, it is highly likely that it would determine he had the probable cause necessary to search Ms. Sherrard's vehicle. As to the constitutionality of running Ms. Sherrard's tags, courts have consistently concluded that officers do not violate the...
This is why we say know your rights with what you do. Because obviously this woman doesn't. She does not understanding that because it's not decriminalized, that you smell, the cop has every right to search the vehicle.
We went through that out here in California for a while, and it would still be that way. It's like, it's legalized, but you still can't drive with it. It can't be like in a container that's accessible in your car, and you can only travel with, I think, up to 2 ounces now.
Yeah, I
which
think
is still
that's
pretty
about right.
sizable.
Yeah, it is.
But they still want to crack down on sales and everything. So, you know, if they even still hear if they smell marijuana open in your car,
Yeah, they'll still try.
You know.
Yeah.
Fourth Amendment by searching for an individual's license plate in a police database, even when they do not have any reason to suspect any sort of criminality. As the Supreme Court explained in the 1986 case of New York versus Class, quote, a citizen does not surrender all the protections of the Fourth Amendment by entering an automobile. Nonetheless, the state's intrusion into a particular area, whether in an automobile or elsewhere.
We're looking up because there's another Starlink launch tonight, and you can see it going. Sorry, I don't have it on here because...
I don't think I could get it out. It's too dim now.
Yeah, but yeah,
It
we've
was
seen
rocket
quite a
launch.
few of them.
And it's crazy to watch because it comes from over a horizon in this big, giant, orange, glowy ball, and then it turns into this like elongated orb-looking thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy to watch.
It's
so
like close to 9 o'clock, isn't it?
It is 9. Yeah.
See, I mean, this is later than they usually do it.
Yeah.
Usually about 8.
Yeah. I thought it was supposed to be at 8, but see, there was wind.
There was wind,
Yeah.
so they might have been waiting for the wind to die.
Hindenburg.
Cannot result in a Fourth Amendment violation unless the area is one in which there is a constitutionally protected reasonable expectation of privacy. The court then held that an officer did not violate the Fourth Amendment by reaching into the passenger compartment of a vehicle stopped for a traffic violation to move papers obscuring its vehicle identification number, or VIN, or VIN, reasoning that individuals do not have reasonable expectations of privacy in their VINs, as they are required by law to be located in a place ordinarily in plain view from the exterior of the automobile. Applying this and other precedents, courts have generally concluded that there is no reasonable expectation of privacy in a license plate number, and that officers may therefore run tags of a vehicle in plain view without implicating the Fourth Amendment. For instance, in the 2006 case of U.S. versus Ellison, the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Tennessee, determined that, quote, so long as the officer had a right to be in a position to observe the defendant's license plate, any such observation and corresponding use of the information on the plate does not violate the Fourth Amendment. As such, a court would almost certainly find that Officer Dyer was within his constitutional authority to run Ms. Sherrard's plates, regardless of whether or not he actually smelled any marijuana.
Yo, what are you? You're gonna put.
I said put your hands on the car.
You're arresting me for
Put
what?
your hand back up.
Hey, don't you put your. Hey, God, I'm so dizzy right now. He just banged my. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Shut up. I'm moving.
He's pulling my hair.
Get in the car! Get in the car!
Oh my God! I can't. I'm too big.
Sucks to be you. Get in the car!
I didn't do anything. You're a woman. You're gonna treat me like this.
You're gonna get tased. Get in the car.
Listen.
Get in the car.
Get in the car!
I'm getting in the car. Okay, I'm in.
Although it is difficult to tell exactly what happened from the body camera footage, and Lackluster reported that the other officer's body camera footage had been quote-unquote purged, Ms. Sherrard's attorney detailed the officer's use of force against her in a federal lawsuit stemming from this encounter. According to the complaint, Officer Dyer grabbed Ms. Sherrard, slammed her face onto the partially opened window of her vehicle, banged her head onto her vehicle, and handcuffed her. The lawsuit also asserts that Officer Dyer then pushed her against the back of a police vehicle and jerked her head backward by grabbing her hair after she had been handcuffed. A few moments later, after Ms. Sherrard was...
I have watched so many of these body cam footage things, not just focused on women, but I have noticed this. Every single time a woman cop comes along and there's a woman perpetrator or somebody suspect or whatever, every freaking time there is huge drama. It turns into it just makes it so much worse.
It does.
Like the women will be slightly belligerent with the male cops, then the female comes and it just freaking explodes.
Yeah, it does, and that's why I don't think it's right to have the female cops be there half the time.
Yeah.
Because it...
I mean, every time. I mean, it's like they throw fuel on the fire.
Oh, they do.
I don't know if it's just that alpha type A personality, or again trying to prove something. I don't know, but
well, and again, we talked about it before, and you as a woman, it's like you do not think that women should have power when they have their bleeding time.
Yeah, I do. I very strongly believe that, because it is undeniable that you have brain fog. You don't think clearly. You do not make good decisions.
Yes,
And like
exactly.
this few days leading up to the bleeding cycle and during the bleeding cycle, it's undeniable. You know, and I don't care how much coffee that you drink or how many uppers that you take, it doesn't change the fact that your cognitive skills are completely diminished.
Yeah.
Like from hormones and everything at that point. It's like they shouldn't be working.
And I mean, I'm sure you'll find a lot of females that'll say the same thing, but there's some, oh, I can do it just as much as a guy on any given day.
Yeah, when they ask that question, it's like, is it your time of the month? I'm like, that's a really valid question.
Yeah.
Because it really does make us
And-
not think straight.
And women get a little more pissier
Yeah, for sure.
at that time.
For sure. And it's like, so you get women to women, and it's like, they're just like, that is just like,
Especially if they're both around
on
that
the same
time.
cycle,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, there's just no way. I think it's the dumbest thing. And, like, I don't know. I mean, they talk about women presidents and stuff, and it's like, I just can't see that unless they're postmenopausal. And then, even then, unless they're completely done going through menopause, they're going to have the same brain fog and the same, you know, limited capacity for empathy and stuff at that point. I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either.
Escorted to the police vehicle, Officer Anna Simmons arrived on the scene, and Sergeant Myrick, quote-unquote, drive-stunned Ms. Sherrard with her taser as she struggled to get in the vehicle. The term drive-stun refers to holding a taser device against the target without firing the projectiles, which is intended to cause pain, but not incapacitation. Despite the fact that Ms. Sherrard explicitly told the officers that she did not believe she was able to get into the back of the vehicle due to her size, Officer Simmons chose to leave this fact out of her police report, which Lackluster obtained and included in his video. According to Officer Simmons' narrative, now quoting, Sherrard was escorted to the police unit, however, continued her refusal of compliance and would not get in the vehicle. Police continued to give numerous lawful orders to get into the police unit, and she did not comply. Police drive-stunned Sherrard to gain compliance, which was successful. Now, as we've discussed before here on ATA, whether or not the use of force during an arrest or investigatory stop of a free citizen is quote-unquote excessive is analyzed under the so-called reasonableness standard of the Fourth Amendment, which guarantees citizens the right to be secure in their persons against unreasonable seizures of the person. As the Supreme Court explained in the landmark 1989 case of Graham versus Connor, although, now quoting, Fourth Amendment jurisprudence has long recognized that the right to make an arrest or investigatory stop necessarily carries with it the right to use some degree of physical coercion or threat thereof to effect it, any use of force must be reasonable under the totality of the circumstances. In the Graham case, the court noted that, quote, the reasonableness of a particular use of force must be judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene, rather than with the 20/20 vision of hindsight, and ultimately identified 3 factors that courts should consider when evaluating the constitutionality of a use of force, stating that, now quoting, because the test of reasonableness under the Fourth Amendment is not capable of precise definition or mechanical application, its proper application requires careful attention to the facts and circumstances of each particular case, including the severity of the crime at issue, whether the suspect poses an immediate threat to the safety of the officers or others, and whether he is actively resisting arrest or attempting to evade arrest by flight. Applying the 3 so-called Graham factors to Ms. Sherrard's arrest, she would have a strong argument that the officers used excessive force in conducting the arrest and in tasing her when she struggled to get into the vehicle, as it is unclear for what crime she was even arrested for in the first place. And although it is possible that she struggled some against the officers' use of force against her, she was not actively resisting or posing a safety threat to the officers when she was tased or slammed into the vehicle. Additionally, even if Ms. Sherrard did struggle during her arrest, she would still have a legitimate argument that pulling her hair after she was handcuffed and banging her head against the car was excessive.
Shut the up before I take your to jail too. Get back.
She just got run out of baby. You do not
Go away.
arrest her. Girl, do not push me. What is wrong with you? Who did it?
See, this is one of the problems of why we talk about the females being even worse. I mean, that attitude as a figure. If a guy did that, he'd be getting belittled to the point, other people saying, well, that was too much, too much. Then they try, people try to make excuses for females on that point. Well, yeah, but she's small, so she has to act bigger.
No.
Doesn't matter. You have to treat every person with respect, no matter the situation. If you explode on your temper, if you do any of that, you should not be in a position of power like this. Just not.
Yeah, there's just no way. I mean, like, they're supposed to be trained in de-escalation.
Yes.
They're supposed to be able to talk you through this stuff, and these
Yeah.
people do not come off. I mean,
And I think if they would have talked to her a little nicer, they probably would have had a
explained
bigger
things.
outcome of a, things going smooth.
And we're talking about marijuana here.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like he smelled marijuana.
Are you kidding me?
And that's what he had to get all uppity about, and this other.
Yeah, he was uppity too. I think that there was misconduct with everybody here
Yeah.
in this situation. And I mean, I have seen a few men on some of these body cam footage things where they'll cuss somebody out or try to treat them roughly. I've seen a few.
Not as much.
Not as much as the damn.
The females seem to do it every time. It's like, you motherfucker, get in there, you. And it's like.
And they cuss and they get uppity and they're very disrespectful.
Yeah.
They do not de-escalate. I do have to say, our most recent animal control officer that was a female, she did de-escalate things and she talked, but she still ended up lying.
Yeah.
So that's why I lost trust for her. But I mean, at least she actually communicated
Yeah,
and
she did.
worked with us. She wasn't, like, I'm just gonna do this to you and you don't
Yeah.
have a choice. But
But see, their superiors tell them otherwise. They're like, no, you have to get this, or we
Right.
have to ticket them for that. We have to.
yeah, like for us, it was the rabies thing.
Yeah.
Our animals are not really supposed to have a rabies vaccination, and no matter hell and high water, you can't convince them otherwise.
Yeah.
And she said herself, she's like, well, I don't particularly care about it as long as they look healthy, but my supervisor really, really wants those rabies vaccines. He wants those certifications. I'm like, well, he
Yeah.
wants the money.
Yeah, he wants the money. Of course he does.
And she's like, so my job's on the line. And I'm like, yeah, but this is our way of life.
Yeah.
These are our animals' health. We've been doing
Yep.
this for like 30 years.
Because the ones that have had their shot have had
they-
cancer and bigger issues.
They've died. Some of them have died. It's nuts to me. And it's like,
Yeah.
see, I mean.
And the ones that we didn't get any have lived longer.
Yeah. I mean, Rain had hers, and JC had his,
Yep.
and Fuji had his, and all of those died between the age of 10 and 12.
Yeah.
And then I had JC, who had never had one in his life, and he lived to be 14 and would have continued living past that if he didn't break his leg.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like they don't take that into consideration. And also, my biggest problem with authority is them coming onto your land.
Yes.
And making you conform to the laws. And like,
Yeah.
we're not in your world.
No, we're at our monastery.
If we go out and we bring dogs out, all of those dogs are registered and they all have their vaccination.
Yes.
But they come in and they impose on you.
They do, for sure.
And like this in this situation, like I said, this is freaking marijuana.
Yeah.
this isn't
Yeah,
meth.
but some of those southern towns really take it seriously.
Even still, I
Yeah,
guess.
just
I don't know.
no, even like a seed would be like, oh, your ass is going to jail.
Yeah, this is not California, I guess.
No.
Not everywhere's California.
Amen.
Yeah.
Just be petty. Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
I need to know who did it.
Who did what?
Who tased my
She
mama?
didn't get tased.
Then why was there taser going off over there?
Checking the fire, I guess.
So then why was there taser?
How about you worry about you? We'll worry about your mama. I don't really give a
Y'all are violating our rights right now.
Which one?
You want to act like a big girl, you're going to get treated like a big girl. So I drive son her mom to get her in the car. Other than that, she's perfectly fine.
Just drive son? I'm just making sure.
Yeah, no, she just drive son. But I did it twice. I'm emotionally invested. Can I take her?
Yes. Well, we were thinking.
I love it when you do this. Going to the hospital, I'm going to come. I'm talking. I'm telling you what's going to happen, okay?
You're very rude.
Taking mom for disorderly conduct, resisting stop halt frisk.
They are now.
Officer Dyer states that he is taking Ms. Sherrard to jail for disorderly conduct and resisting. Under Section 39-17-305 of the Tennessee Code, quote, a person commits an offense who, in a public place and with intent to cause public annoyance or alarm, engages in fighting or in violent or threatening behavior, refuses to obey an official order to disperse issued to maintain public safety in dangerous proximity to a fire, hazard, or other emergency, or creates a hazardous or physically offensive condition conviction by any act that serves no legitimate purpose. Further, the statute states that, now quoting again, a person also violates this section who makes unreasonable noise that prevents others from carrying on lawful activities. In this instance, Ms. Sherrard's actions did not appear to rise to the level of disorderly conduct because, although she spoke assertively, she did not even raise her voice at Officer Dyer until right before he grabbed her, and certainly did not make unreasonable noise, engage in fighting, violent, or threatening behavior, or create a hazardous or physically offensive condition. In fact, Officer Dyer's voice was noticeably louder and more aggressive than Ms. Sherrard's was.
I promise you.
You are not going to break my rights right now.
You're about to get your rights in the back of my car. I said put your hands on the car.
You're arresting me for
Put your hand back up.
Hey, don't you put your...
In her police report, Officer Simmons summarized the encounter differently, stating that after Ms. Sherrard was informed her vehicle would be searched, quote, Sherrard became belligerent with police, screaming and yelling that the police were not going to search the vehicle. Sherrard continued to scream and yell, causing even further disorder. Now, while the behavior described in the police report could potentially support a disorderly conduct conviction, based on the body camera footage of what actually occurred, it seems unlikely that a court would find that Ms. Sherrard could be convicted of disorderly conduct, or that her arrest was even supported by probable cause. As to the resisting charge, according to Section 39-16-602 of the Tennessee Code, quote, it is an offense for a person to intentionally prevent or obstruct anyone known to the person to be a law enforcement officer from effecting a stop, frisk, halt, arrest, or search of any person by using force against the law enforcement officer. Although the statute requires an individual to use force against a law enforcement officer, Section 39-11-106 of the Tennessee Code states that, quote, force means compulsion by the use of physical power or violence and shall be broadly construed to accomplish the purposes of this title. And in the 1997 case of State versus Isabor, the Court of Criminal Appeals of Tennessee determined that an individual's actions in flailing his arms and struggling in an effort to avoid being handcuffed were sufficient to support a resisting conviction. Accordingly, if Ms. Sherrard physically struggled against the officer's attempts to arrest her, she could potentially be convicted of resisting. However, while the resisting statute also states that, now quoting, except as provided in Section 39-11-611, it is no defense to prosecution under this section that the stop, frisk, halt, arrest, or search was unlawful, Section 39-11-611 of the Tennessee Code allows individuals to use force in self-defense during an arrest when, now quoting, the law enforcement officer uses greater force than necessary to make the arrest, and the person using force reasonably believes that the force is immediately necessary to protect against the law enforcement officer's use of greater force than necessary. In other words, as the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals explained in the 2007 case of Roberts versus Anderson, quote, under Tennessee law, an officer's excessive use of force is a defense to a charge of resisting or evading arrest. Accordingly, while Tennessee allows individuals to be convicted of resisting an arrest that is not supported by probable cause, Ms. Sherrard would be able to attempt to defend herself against any resisting charge by arguing that the officers were using excessive force.
But the car can just stay here. I mean, I'm her daughter.
It does not break any of their laws. What they did.
Really?
They charged her with resisting and they charged her with disorderly conduct. And he went over them on she didn't fit any of them. Like, she kind of fit the resisting.
Yeah.
But then he went back. Well, he went back and it says that they'll allow somebody to resist arrest if like over-implied force has been used by the officer. They have the right to fight back, and she had a good case on that.
Yeah, I mean, because it was like she said, no, you're not going to do that, but that's all she said.
Yeah.
And he had to go and get loud about it, and then start putting hands on her.
Yeah,
and
so...
And from what I understand, there was also her mother that was also there, and because she was asking, she's like, did you tase my mother?
Well, yeah, that was her in the vehicle. The one that they put her in the vehicle and tasing her and put her in the vehicle, the mother.
Okay.
The daughter was one outside where the female cop, you need to shut up and go away.
Party, please go, because I was out of jail and I just had a day for you.
And I feel for you, and I'm not trying to cause you no headache. You just got to understand we have a job to do also. Step back. Let's talk. How old are you, man?
I'm 18, sir.
18.
And I'm a man. I'm like you. Why you gotta hit my mama like that, bro?
You gonna keep the? I tried. You see, I tried to talk to you like a man. I tried to talk.
Why you gotta do her like that, bro?
Get in the car. I tried to talk to you. I tried. I'm not your bro. You see, I tried. You see, I tried to talk to you. How old is he? 18. He's old enough to take a ride. He goes to the big boy jail. Listen, I want you to know how this would have went. Ma'am, I'm going to have to search your car. Okay. I didn't find anything. Guess what? Have a good night.
After Ms. Sherrard's arrest, the officers searched her vehicle and found no marijuana or any illegal contraband. They also conducted the well child check and found the child in question healthy and happy inside the home. Ms. Sherrard was transported by EMS to a hospital where she was medically cleared and then charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. The officers released Haley and Angel's 15-year-old daughter, who had been handcuffed during the encounter, but Devin was charged with disorderly conduct. On April 19, 2022, the state of Tennessee dismissed all charges against Angel and Devin. On July 12, 2022, Angel, Devin, and her minor daughter filed a lawsuit in state court, and the case was removed to federal court on August 11, 2022. The lawsuit alleged multiple constitutional violations and state law tort claims against the individual officers involved in the encounter, as well as the city of East Ridge. On September 21, 2023, the Sherrards reached a settlement agreement with East Ridge. Although the amount received by the adult Sherrards has not been disclosed, due to Tennessee laws requiring court approval of settlements and legal fees for minors, we know that Ms. Sherrard's minor daughter received a settlement of $10,000, with $4,000 of that sum being paid to her attorney. Now, although the population of East Ridge is less than 22,000, the Sherrards' lawsuit is not the only civil rights case that has recently been filed against the city alleging police misconduct, including a case where Officer Dyer is accused of using excessive force against a citizen, and Officer Miller is accused of failing to intervene, and another lawsuit alleging that Officer Simmons used excessive force in preventing a patient from leaving a hospital. On December 22nd...
Okay, those cops need to go.
Yeah.
If you get that much on your record,
Yeah.
no, you need to go. Because you're obviously hiding each other's BS.
Yeah, you see that a lot down there in those small states and stuff, you know, it's like, I don't think
abuse of power, as always.
Yeah, it's kind of bad out here, too.
Yeah.
I feel that it's worse, like, out in the southern states and the Bible
Yeah,
Belt.
we've gotten some okay cops over here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been impressed.
Yeah.
More than I'm
been-
used to out here.
Out here, more or less, they're so short-staffed that they don't even really send
Yeah.
anybody out for
Well,
anything.
especially out here. They don't like coming out here.
Yeah.
This is the sticks, man. They don't like coming out this way. They don't know if somebody has a gun or what they're stepping into. You know, they get nervous coming out here.
Yeah, that makes sense, because there's a lot of armed people out here.
Yeah,
you
there is.
know?
2022, the East Ridge Police Department fired Officer Simmons for so-called use of force and so-called discourteous behavior during another encounter. On December 29th, 2022, it was confirmed that Officer Simmons had been hired by the Bradley County Sheriff's Office less than a week after her termination, as she was reported as the department's first responding officer to a car accident on Christmas Day. In May of 2023, Officer Simmons resigned from the Bradley County Sheriff's Office for undisclosed reasons. No disciplinary action has been publicly reported for the other officers involved in the encounter with the Sherrards. Overall, the East Ridge officers get an F for using unnecessary force against Ms. Sherrard, blatantly misrepresenting Ms. Sherrard's conduct during the encounter in an apparent attempt to manufacture criminality and justify their actions, and seeming to take pleasure in subjecting Ms. Sherrard to both physical abuse and emotionally demeaning behavior. Officer Simmons, in particular, seemed to relish misusing her authority, telling Ms. Sherrard, and I quote, "sucks to be you," when she revealed that she could not fit in the backseat of the police vehicle, and openly admitting that she was quote-unquote emotionally invested in seeing Ms. Sherrard be processed, despite the fact that she had not committed any crimes. There are too many issues with the officers' behavior in this encounter for us to discuss all of them, but on the whole, they remained unprofessional, aggressive, and cruel throughout the interaction, and likely violated the constitutional rights of all of the present members of the Sherrard family. Ms. Sherrard gets an A- because while she was mistaken about the legality of Officer Dyer's decision to run her tags, she opposed a potentially illegal search of her vehicle, fought the charges against her in court, and took proper legal action against the officers after the encounter. Although the search of her vehicle may have been lawful if Officer Dyer actually smelled marijuana, given the clear lack of honesty in the way the East Ridge PD represented other aspects of the encounter and the absence of marijuana in the vehicle, it is more than plausible that Officer Dyer was simply lying about the odor, which would make the search clearly unconstitutional. Beyond that, the physical force and verbal abuse that Ms. Sherrard and her family were subjected to during this altercation was inexcusable, and I commend the Sherrards for filing a lawsuit to attempt to hold these officers accountable for their reprehensible actions. Let us know if there's an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. Again, like I was saying, I got the Patreon's up and running today. We'll have a link to it by tomorrow, right?
Yes, and we'll probably set up a Gmail because we're trying to talk about like collaborating with videos and stuff. So we'll have to set up like a
Gmail account so that you guys can email me if you have stories or whatever you need to say.
Vice versa. You know? So yeah.
So thank you again. Thank you, Sancho, for being here. Always fun to have you. And we'll be back Friday. What's set for Friday?
I don't know. It's gonna be one of the 7 deadly sins. I don't know which one we have left.
Okay.
I'll have to ask Tristan.
Yeah, we'll get it figured out.
So
that's our last day. That last day alone.
That's true. That's true.
So maybe lust.
Maybe lust. That's not a hard one to do.
No.
That's not a hard one to do in this
it's not
society
at all.
for sure. So yeah.
All right.
That's pretty much it. We're just talking about collaborating and getting videos going, and
yes,
I was encouraging Sancho to do his videos, and
yeah, we watched your video from today. That was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Keep them coming.
Yep.
And whenever you want to do a co-op, just let me know. We'll get something up and going.
Since right now he only has the phone.
Yeah, I know it's hard. You got
it.
It
is, yeah. So when he gets a laptop, you know, he'll do more. But I say, you know, get the ball rolling on the phone even. You know, do little things, and you know, because we need more truth tellers out here. And
yeah, we do. We need to get it. You know,
some evidence
out.
Yes, exactly. So. Alrighty. Thank you for joining us.
Yep.
I'm gonna fall.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out.